Hello, thank you for watching my channel today. My name's Sarah and my channel is called Your True Shelf. And today it's very exciting that I get to film this video because it's time for Shorty September's TBR. So Shorty September is a readathon which was started by Siân Bert from Past Story Time and Heather from Soggy Expat Book Nerd, which started in 2021. This is the third year, and basically the aim is just to read books which are shorties, i.e. around the 200 or less page mark. And that's it. It's as simple as that. Heather does amazing designs every year for the prompts, and this year she's excelled herself and she's done a zine as the prompt. So there's this gorgeous zine. I'll link everything that you need in the description box if this is the first that you've heard of Shorty September. But Bert and John's videos and Heather's videos and the link for how to download your zine and make your zine and everything. So it's really cool. It's got like all of the prompts inside, which I'll show you as we go through. But yeah, it's awesome, and I highly encourage everyone to take part so we can grow Shorty September even more. So this is my TBR video, so I'm going to go through each prompt and what my choice is for the prompts. I sort of got all of my possibilities, all of my shorties out, and then decided what fits into which prompt. So the first prompt, I'm going to hold these up so you can see. This is the first one. This is Spanx, and this is for a book with magic or witchcraft. So for this one, I have chosen A Wizard of Earthsea by Ursula Leguin. So this is a book that I have had on my Kindle for quite a long time. It's a small book. There's an Earthsea series, so if I like this one, then there's more to read in the series. I can't remember really what it's about, and I know it's a fantasy. I think there's dragons, but I'm not exactly sure past that point, and now I wish I'd checked before. But that's my first choice. The second one here is Hoochie Daddy Shorts, and the prompt is a spicy read or a revealing gossipy biography. So I've chosen a queer romance which I got from the library for this one, and this is Swimming in the Dark by Tomasz Jedrowski. This is set in Poland in 1980. Shy, anxious Ludwig has been sent along with the rest of his university class to an agricultural camp. Here he meets Janusz, and together they spend a dreamlike summer falling in love. But with summer over, the two are sent back to Warsaw, confronted by the scrutiny, intolerance and corruption under the life of the party. Ludwig and Janusz must decide how they will survive, and in their different choices find themselves torn apart. So that's my choice for Hoochie Daddy Shorts. The next one is Shorty Shorts, which is a book from the 70s or 80s. I didn't have hardly any of these. The books that I had were either like the 1940s or the 1990s or hardly anything. So I've actually got one of my childhood books, which I've been carrying around with me ever since I was a kid. I remember buying this at a book fair after school when I was in like junior school, and I was so excited because I loved the cover so much. And this is First Term at Trebizon by Digby. This is really small, and I reckon it will be very dated now, but this was written in 1978. It's a boarding school book. So it says, fresh from a London comprehensive, Rebecca Mason is plunged into life at Trebizon, a famous boarding school for girls. Lonely, afraid and anxious to prove herself, Rebecca determines to write something that will be accepted for publication in the special Jubilee edition of the school magazine. But the piece that appears is not the one she intended, and she unwittingly triggers a row involving the editor of the magazine, which rocks the school. But her new friend Tish Anderson and the other second years are on her side. The first book in the highly popular series about Rebecca and her friends at Trebizon. So yes, we'll see how I like that one now that I am significantly older than when I bought it. We then have one of the best ones, Half and Half Shorts, which is to read the book and then watch the TV or movie adaptation. I always have fun choosing this. And this year I have chosen, well, I've got two options, but I think I've chosen. So I think I'm going to watch To Sir with Love by E.R. Braithwaite. So this is, I believe, about a black teacher who goes to teach in a sort of quite rough white comprehensive school in London in the 60s, I want to say, maybe. And the film adaptation is starring Sidney Poitier, and the trailer looks good, and I got this book on Kindle a while ago, and then I thought, actually, I think there's a film adaptation for this, and it was perfect for Shorty September. My other option, I'm pretty sure I'm going to go for that, but my other option is All Quiet on the Western Front, because that's a really small book, and there's a new film adaptation of that on Netflix that I really want to see. Then we have Mum Shorts, which is a comfort read. So for that one, I have two options. One of them is Heartstopper Volume 4. So I have read 1, 2 and 3, obviously. I wouldn't be suggesting 4. I'm kind of... I'm saving it, really, because I don't want it to end. So yeah, this is one option, because these only take like sort of 30 to 60 minutes to read, because they're graphic novels. And the other option I find food really comforting in books, and this is a book I got from the library, which is all about food, and this is Tiny Moons, A Year of Eating in Shanghai by Nina Mingya Powles. This is one I saw on Joan Campbell's channel. So it's a collection of essays about food and belonging. Nina journeys between Wellington, Kota, Kinabalu and Shanghai, tracing the constants in her life, eating and cooking, and the dishes that have come to define her. Through childhood snacks, family feasts, Shanghai street food and student dinners, she attempts to find a way back towards her Chinese-Malaysian heritage. I really find food comforting in books, so that would definitely be a comfort read. Okay, then we have Ripped Shorts, which is a mystery or slasher. I find this hard every year because I definitely don't read slashers, and I don't really read mysteries. So I've gone with... This is probably a really naff choice, but I've gone with this because of, I think it's got some body horror and stuff in it. But I've gone for Children of Paradise by Camilla Grudova, which I bought because it was on the Women's Price long list. I got that on Kindle and I haven't read it, so I would like to read that one for this prompt. Then we have Elizabethan Shorts, which is a historical read. So for this one, I have two options. I have an easier option and a harder option, so we'll see depending on how the time's going. I've got either the Custard Heart, which is one of the little Penguin Moderns, tiny little book, which is some short stories by Dorothy Parker from the 1940s. Or my other choice, if I'm feeling braver and fancy something a little bit longer, this is kind of on the verge of not being a shorty because I think it's 235 pages. And this is Cry the Beloved Country by Paton. And I believe this is about South Africa. It's sort of quite a sort of seminal text about South Africa. So it's fiction, but it says, in the city of Johannesburg, a father seeks his delinquent son. His search takes him through a labyrinth of murder, prostitution, racial hatred, and ultimately reconciliation. First published in 1948, Cry the Beloved Country addresses the problem of race relations with the scrupulousness of the historian, the sensitivity of the poet, and stands as the single most important novel in the 20th century South African literature. I don't like it when it says the single most important, especially because this is written by a white author, and you can't say it's the single most important about South African history when that's not a black author. But there you go. So yes, that's the other one in that category. We then have Lederhosen, a translated book. So for that one, I have chosen a manga book, my first ever manga book, which is My Love Mix-Up, which is art by Aruko and story by Wataru Hinakure. Let me just see if it says who the translator is in here. Not sure if it does actually. No, I don't think it does. That's not very good. But yeah, so this is a manga. So Aoki has a crush on Hashimoto, the girl in the seat next to him in class. But he despairs when he borrows her eraser and sees she's written the name of another boy, Ida, on it. To make matters more confusing, Ida sees him holding that very eraser and thinks Aoki has a crush on him. So I think this is kind of like a cute manga, sort of a romance one. We then have Pedro Pascal shorts, An Unexpected Purchase. So this is basically one where you bought something that you weren't expecting necessarily to buy. And I chose for this one, another one I have on my Kindle, The Adventures of Mrs. Seacole in Many Lands by Mary Seacole. So this is a non-fiction, and this is actually a book that I was trying to choose a buddy read for Victober last year. And I was trying to find some authors of colour for Victober, so that weren't just your sort of the usual white authors, which are always read for Victober. And Mary Seacole was a Victorian author, and she was a nurse, a very sort of influential nurse, kind of along the lines of Florence Nightingale, in many lands. And I think, am I right in saying the Crimean War? So yeah, it's about her nursing career. So that one sounds interesting. Right, we then have Dolphin Shorts, a book with water on the cover. So for this one, I've chosen a book which Siân Bert actually bought for me. So they bought 2 of these books for me. One of them I read for Shorty September last year, and now I'm reading this one. And this is a Dawson's Creek book. As you can see, there's water on the cover. This is called Trouble in Paradise. So these are like little spin-off novels from Dawson's Creek. Dawson's Creek is my favourite TV show of all time. I've watched it so many times. It's still like my biggest go-to comfort show. And these are the little spin-offs that Siân Bert got for me, which is really sweet of them. And therefore, I would love to read one of these for Shorty September. They're really small and they're really quick and easy to read as well. I think I read the last one in like a day. Then we have Lodge Shorts, a book you bought because you were trying to look cool. So I don't think I really do that. I don't think I really think, oh, I want to impress someone by buying this book. But I have got a book which I saw Heather read, which isn't generally speaking something I probably would have picked up, but she liked it. So I wasn't trying to look cool, but I bought this because Heather recommended it. And this is West by Carys Davis. So this says, Kai Bellman, American settler and widowed father, hears news which fills him with wonder. In the deep swamps of Kentucky, huge ancient bones have been discovered. Leaving his young daughter Bess to fend for herself, Kai sets off to see if there is truth in the rumours that giant monsters are still living, roaming the uncharted territory beyond the Mississippi River. So that's that one. I got this in a charity shop, but it looks like it's never been read before. And then our last prompt is Denim Shorts, which is a modern classic. And for this one, I have gone for A Room of One's Own by Virginia Woolf. Really lovely cover. So I don't know if this is like more of a classic than a modern classic. It's a kind of a blurry line, isn't it? But this was written in 1928. And it's an essay about the importance of having your own space to work in. And yeah, I love Virginia Woolf's writing, and I'm really excited to read this. I've had this for a couple of years, or at least a year anyway. So yes, that is my so far TBR for Shorty September. There were quite a lot of books that I wanted to read and that didn't make it onto the list, which obviously if I read all those, I can start reading other shorties. The only spanner in the works I have, which is really annoying, is that over the last few months I've requested quite a lot of books from the library, and I've now got 5 waiting to be picked up, and I'm pretty sure that most of them won't be ones I can renew. So this is really a bit of a disaster because I don't want to read them in September. I want to read just shorties. So I'm going to have to have a think whether I send some back and order them again, or whether I try them and see what I think and that kind of thing. But dilemmas of book nerd. So yes, I'm really looking forward to seeing other people's Shorty September TBRs. I believe Siân and Bert are making a playlist of them. But please let me know if you're taking part and if you've made a TBR video as well. If you haven't made a video, just let me know what you're planning on reading for your shorties, and it'll be really fun to see everyone's vlogs and things of what they're reading when September starts. Hope you have a lovely week, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye!